Ten Commandments. The Ten Commandments based on the scriptures of the scroll of the Lamb of God. The Ten Commandments written on tablets by the finger of the divine eternal Father. You children of the earth, promised before knowing a human life to fulfill in your simplicity feeling the highest morality that can be conceived, and to attend to your request, the Divine Father placed the Ten Commandments in human life. They represent and remind you on earth of the morality promised in the kingdom of heaven. You might be deceived by the fleeting comfort that money provides, thinking you had never studied my scriptures that could happen by failing to comply with the commandments in your daily life cannot be overlooked. Only the arrogant will come to know the power of God, which is first expressed through the living doctrines and then in nature. Every new law must be first thought and then executed. To do the positive will bring chaos to the world, as everyone will be deluded and many will take their own lives believing that the end of the world has come. No, children, there is not a such thing. What exists is the final judgment on a way life that is not in kingdom of heaven, that is not in my commandments, and that will be approved the human evolution. The commandments were given for everyone. They are the only ones that can unify the world. My divine commandments do not divide the world. Only the divine commandments could and still save the world from the weeping incarnation society that is approaching. First commandment: you should love your God and Creator above all the things, and your neighbors as yourself. Second commandment: you should not worship on any image, temple, or likenesses of any kind. Third commandment: you should not take the name of the Lord your God in vain, for the Lord will not behold him in guiltless who takes his name in vain. Fourth commandment: remember the Sabbath day and keep it holy. 6 days you should labor and do all your work, but the 7 days is a Sabbath to the Lord your God. For in 6 days the Lord made the heavens and the earth, the sea, and all that is in them, and rested on the 7th day. Therefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and made it holy. Fifth commandment: honor your father and your mother, so that your days might be prolonged in the land that the Lord your God is giving you. Sixth commandment: you shall not kill. Seventh commandment: you shall not fornicate, you shall not commit adultery. Eighth commandment: you shall not steal. Ninth commandment: you shall not bear false witnesses against your neighbor, no lies. 10th commandment: you should not covet your neighbor's gods. Based on the Holy Scriptures, Exodus chapter 20, Deuteronomy chapter 5. The demanding days of the Creator bear the self-equality to degree unknown to you. This equality is represented in the Ten Commandments. Where did you get the word private? Nothing is private in the nature. The divine root gives and takes away, meaning that every divine commandments have been observing the actions of every human him bring through the centuries. They are living words of God, who is everywhere in the highest morality that the human mind can imagine. Such morality is represented in my commandments. There is no other knowledge in this world that surpasses them. My divine commandment teach equality. Inequality that is respected will have made the earth paradise. The Creator is infinite and it represents in all the things. Yet His commandments are the supreme because they emerge from His free will. The divine morality of my divine commandments was created so that universal communist government could arise on earth, one single government and one single God. Is there any other doctrine more humble than the which they share material things in common? The hour has come when all the power that is not on the eternal Father will fall by His first own law. With the measurement they use, they will measure. The measure is the commandment, and by the commandments they will fall. Right, Alpha and Omega. Lord, you blew the winds, and the sea is your child. Who is like you, O Lord? From the eternal to the eternity, you are the voice of God. First Exodus, chapter 31, verses 2 to 6. Holy greetings. And the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Behold, I have called by my name Bezalel, the son of Uri, the son of the herd of the tribe of Judah, and I have filled him with the Spirit of God in wisdom, in intelligence, in knowing how to make every work of art, in work of gold, silver, and bronze, in penwork with precious stone, in the work of the woodworkers and the carvers, in all artistic idea. And Joshua, the son of Nun, Moses' servant, was young, and they did not depart from the tabernacle. First Chronicles, chapter 28, verses 19-21. And David gave his son Solomon the design of the court, of the tabernacle, of the congregations, of his chambers, of his upper rooms, of his inner chambers, and of his chambers, and the design of all the Spirit of God has caused him to conceive for the court of the house of the Lord, for the chambers of the house, for the treasures of the house of God, and for the treasures of the ark. What will come? Divine title 1501. Flying sources are the shift of all the Trinity. They know fascinating stories of the worlds and the suns. These ships participate in every creation that happens in the cosmos. The solar parents to participate in his creations, the solar firstborn children being those with the highest solar hierarchy after the Divine Father Jehovah. The world will see them in the year 2001. This ship will land in China and India, and east of the earth will have the glory of having them. The so-called West will have to immigrate to achieve such a divine prize. This is why it was written East against West, because a big problem will be created in the East by having to receive the rest of the world. Telepathic scroll reading. Divine title. Constructions of the flying saucers continue. The living number participates in the constructions of a flying saucer. The living number, in its decision to participate in a creation, does not think of the divine greatnesses of God, just as thinking spirit does. When one in the divine presence of God, the Spirit, whether in human form or as a living number, forgets everything. Everyone sees that the Divine Father Jehovah did all the achievements that one feels and wishes to become in a creature, think beings in the divine presence of the Eternal. See the matters and the Spirit creates all the geometric forms of life that any mind can imagine. Everyone sees the matter and the Spirit converts in force of divine alliances to understand what they do not know.
what they seem impossible to everyone, and what they never thought would happen. There, in the divine presence of God, they see as an infinite reality. The divine spectacle, seeing God in glory and majesty, lives in eternal memory in everyone that no one will ever forget. It is the divine magnificence of the divine seal of God. It is receiving a divine flow from the very divine cause of the creates all the causes. The living number lovely loses all notions and notions of all calculation. It withdraws into his own numerical innocence. The human spirit experiences the same sensation when the divine presence of God, the total magnetism of everything over the entirety of oneself recognized in external outer, and it falls into deep sleep in which divine scenes are seen, never experienced by anyone from the infinity universe. The feelings of this whole thoughts, the whole try to lovingly abandon the spirit. The notion of time on which the spirit and the living number were accustomed to track in its expansive development. In all of the age of the creature ceases instantly, and one begins to live eternity. One lives eternally as child. The living numbers is filled with the happiness when it feels that the numerical joy embraces. The transformation felt into the divine presence of God are limitless. Every desire, whatever it might be, becomes reality. The infinity perfections of God makes any signs of command invisible. Not even microscopic gesture, because the invisible in God expresses silently. And all living numbers are loudly glorified in the infinity numbering of the divine Father Jehovah, and all thinking spirit as well. The living numbers, according to the divine inherited, to which they belong, such as the sensations of the field of the divine presence of God, and the flying sources, matter and spirit, form a whole of love. The entirety of love returns of sensations experienced in others' existences, and the beauty manifests itself in loss before the suns. The living number of the flying saucers will see the form in distant galaxies. Other solar numerical fathers call it from the unheard distances. The divine glory of the divine Father Jehovah will expand by opening unheard abounds of the eternal happiness, which no one until then had to know in the kingdom of heaven. These are the divine surprises that God gives to the kingdom, surprises that will be commanded forever. The living number in the divine glory of God recognize the celestial time from which they emerge. The spirit experiences the same sensation the time it was accustomed to living retrapped to its innocence of time, and it does so by all the experiences and all the same sensations, transcending in all the times corresponding to all reincarnations that the living number and the spirit have. The greater the number of the reincarnation one has, the greater the glorious sensation of one will be experienced. The speed of sensations and their depth are increasing as one sensation of reincarnations approach to another. The living number and the spirit experiences the state of living heaven's innocence. The sensation of the unknown causes the molecule to merge with the virtue and with their respective poles. The living number feels an immense as the microscopic cell, and indeed, it has gone beyond the limits of the molecule. What it was elite, the word times, spaces, and sensations that will live on eternities to come, that will correspond to future existences. The living number is identified with the times and space that are results of sensation and expanded by each of these numerical molecules. In the flying saucers, this law fields geometrized it in a disk. And beings in a materialized ship, one feels and sees that it has no limit. The sensation experiences the living number in the same as the thinking spirit. When it contemplates the infinity universe, it feels the related infinity of the bezels and the unchanging infinity of the universe. In reincarnation, in a flying saucer, the living number imposes numerical test that includes forgetting its own numerical origin. The test, to which is a living number, is subject included to divine final numerical judgments, in which the Divine Father Jehovah transforms into Divine Father Jehovah numero. Because nothing is impossible for God, the Divine Father Jehovah has no limits. He is present in all mental conceptions according to the concept that each person has the same of God. So is divine form with which the Divine Father appears to his children. The Eternal is not subject to any of the infinity conceptions that arise from the minds of its infinity children. This teaches that no one belief should ever have been imposed, not even to a single molecule. Those who impose their forms of faith on others will not enter in kingdom of heaven. And it's easier for one to have delicate not to impose to enter in kingdom. No religion that has emerged during the trials of life has entered in the kingdom of heaven, nor would enter. The living number and all about the all engage with the divine and chilling judgment against those who imposed or persecuted the test of life, consisting in doing everything with love. And if the earth, the planet of light testing, has divine judgment pending, it is because it violates the law of love and respects its planetary trials. The living numbers of the flying sources join the cry of justice from the living numbers of the planet Earth, because the whole over the whole ask God for solidarity in all the tests that it says. This means that every guilty party responsible for the strange licentiousnesses with its peculiar division must be faced universal solidarity in the divine judgments of God. Solidarity is from the kingdom of heaven. Division and libertinousness are not from the kingdom of heaven. They are foreign on the kingdom, and the orders of the law that include strange customs will not enter in kingdom of heaven again. Neither there nor the imitators, those who contributed to their own way to being to the expansion of division, are complete with those who do not enter in kingdom of heaven. The test of life, or of not violating God's law, not allowing others to violate it. Those who were indifferent to the injustice on their own way of life will not enter in kingdom of heaven again. When these strange indifferences, one asks for justice from the Son of God, they too will find indifference, because by allowing themselves to be influenced by the strange feeling called indifference, in the test of life, they will be judged because of them. Many were moderate. The spirits of those who were moderate during the test of life will be the first to rise from the dead. And along with the accustomed, those who were their martyrs, they were also included in indifferences. No one asks God to be indifferent to the pain and injustice that will be inflicted on others in the trials of life. The word of trial, a word of mortal flesh, will witness it in immense armies of microscopic beings in all the imaginable geometries inviting the earth, and its microscopic replica of armies of Jehovah. This unheard of army consists of the most microscopic element that the matter possesses in the planetary nature. They are the cherubims of everything that encompasses the planet Earth, and among these unprecedented multitudes are numerical cherubims. This is what happens in year 2001, when the Divine Father Jehovah decides to open the heavens that surrounds any testing of planet Earth. And this divine event will be called during the millennium, the era opens heavens. Others will call in weeping and garnishes of teeth. Of those who do not believe in God, the living number, it is divine judgment. Of others will deny all numerical glory to those who deny their own Creator during the trials of life. Every offense against God, no matter how microscopic, affects the entire infinity. The living universe is not indifferent to any one of the violations made against God's law. Not a single molecule escapes this infinity law. The whole impacts the whole. Resonating event is the most microscopic occurrence in the universe. The final judgment of this testing planet is carried out with the glory and majesty befitting a firstborn son. This includes witnessing the unheard of powers of the kingdom of heaven. The presence of the flying saucers is one of the infinity powers. The dress of those in the world of the trials life will be immense. Three-quarters of the creators and sustainers of the strange and unknown world, born from the peculiar laws of God, will commit suicide during the weeping and garnishes of teeth. The strange influence that came from God did not give them the moral strength needed to withstand in the divine judgments of God. This is how child genius of the new world will come in. The living number will be charged to those who practice the so-called collections in the test of life. Every mental calculation that contains cleverness has a numerical discount in the divine final judgments. The greater amount of money believed to be correct. The greater judgment faces proportions for proportions, feeling for feeling, intention for intention, idea for idea, molecule for molecule, and everything there will be living number. It will be everything imaginable, because everything that the human spirit has imagined with his own system of life, absolutely everything, has known the strange sensation of division. The strange psychology that the so-called capitalism gave to the world of the tribe was not a psychology that excluded the inequality. The blindnesses of the creators of the strange system of life, based on calculation of God, was to perpetuate the inequality, which neither they asked of God, because nothing unjust or unequal is asked of God. The eternal is always asked for to be just based on equality, the living number, which also requested by all human spirit when they ask for reincarnation or to be born again, to know a new life. This all by asking for numerical equality. The human spirit chose the same law. It asks for equality idea by idea, molecule by molecule, in his entire over the whole world. No one asked for their test of light, nothing unjust or unbalanced, because everyone knew that the only perfection that entered in kingdom of heaven was the perfection that rested on equality. Everyone knew that the equality was the normal psychology of the kingdom of heaven, and everyone without exception has to imitate it. In the distant testings of planets, the living number will demand from human spirit which rightfully belonged in it to by divine right. This right was established by alliances between the spirit and matter, and is written in the solar books of the kingdom of heaven. The living number, upon collecting what is due to it, will cause millions and millions of human beings to weep, because the deduction from the living numbers will diminish the fruit earned during the trial of life. This fruit will be called celestial score, and it corresponds to the good deeds of every spirit. Second by second, the divine judgments of God encompass everything imagined by the human creature. From the more microscopic to the colossal, from the visible idea to what's conceived about the colossal bodies of the universe, and in everything there will be a living number. The entire world of the trial of life is set for children up to the age of 12 will have to account for everything they did in life, second by second. Therefore, these demands will be taken into account into very repentance of every guilt spirit. The solar television will be assist them in their calculation in this book of life. Everyone will see it in all imaginable sizes, their own actions during the trials of life. What each person did during the trial of life will be witnessed by everyone. This is because no one asked God to do anything hidden during the trial of life. The divine final judgment respects this human request, and nothing hiding will be judged. In the midst of the unheard crowds, the sinners of the world must be shut out their sins. For this is what they request in kingdom of heaven, and every request is fulfilled down to its own last molecule. The request from the Spirit who sought to know the human life, because they did not know it, was written with the word that it says, and there will be a divine judgment over all imaginable things. The living number will provoke in every spirit equipping and garnishing of seed. But the discount that will occur means that no one from the world of the trial of life, no one can enter in kingdom of heaven. It's easier for one who has not lost their innocence to enter in kingdom of heaven than for the one who has lost it. To enter in kingdom of the Father, one must be due and so with the same innocence with which one left. The innocence that each person had in the kingdom of heaven possesses an equal living number, without imbalance. And he only taught that in a single divine psychology, unaware or libertinism, the test of life consists in preserving the same innocence that one had in the kingdom of heaven. Tests are the tests. The flying saucers knew before that a human spirit would create on a distant planet of dust called Earth a strange system of life that will disturb everyone's innocence. This drama is not unique in the expansive thinking universe, because no one is unique, only God is unique. The planet of trial lives is infinity. Just in this world of trial, a strange unknown system of life was created, which, in his peculiar laws, confuse everyone, includes inequality. This strange drama was also repeated in others. The living numbers will recognize you as no one in they violate the Father's law that it was asking for a test. This lack of recognition includes the non-resurrection of oneself. The sublime opportunity is lost to exchange mortal flesh for immortal flesh, because the living number of the Trinity participates in the divine process of resurrection of the perishable bodies, and every living number will be read in every mind. All the elements of the nature will read minds, and when the living number, upon reading the minds of those who ask for the proof of life, sees them and that they not believe in even in their own resurrections, they will not resurrect them, because nothing in divine rewards is granted against one's will. In divine laws, the desire we believe and respect. However, the violation made on the promise to divine Father Jehovah is punished. he who did not believe his own resurrection will not be resurrected as a 12 years old child. Because to receive a reward, one must believe in the reward. As everything imaginable and speak before God, the reward speaks and expresses himself before the Divine Father in his laws of reward. And every reward complains to God when it seems that it has been despised without just a cause. If faith was commanded to be cultivated in trials of life, and it was done with divine intention, so what the human creature will believe in its reward and receiving again the magnetism or saturation that turns all into a child. The test of life consists of believing in everything imaginable because it had been taught that one comes from God, an infinity Father, the Creator. Therefore, no one should have doubt in the test of life, not even a single molecule, because even the molecule will speak in the divine judgment of God, in his laws of molecules. The divine number and the molecule will be ones that will make those who ask for the test life cry in the most, because the whole of everything is composed of them. They are not the only ones. Rather, they are in everything and everyone. The living number intervenes in everything that the human spirit has done, moment by moment. And is present in every custom and act by act the human beings will have to take into account in the divine judgment that approaching to this world of trial. In the flying sources, preparations are being made for the initiation of the divine final judgment. The longed for and sublime moment is desired by all that have suffered in approaching. Only those with the most influence by the strange powers of God do not think even remotely about what themselves ask for into the kingdom of heaven, because every divine judgment is requested from God, just as life is requested. The strange forgetfulness of the child that the word requests, the forgetful pay for the second by seconds, because no one asked God to forget about it, and it was being asked for him. Everyone who forgot in the test of life that they have a divine judgment pending must add up all the seconds in time that the forgetfulness lasted. For every second of strange forgetfulness, they must believe in existences outside the kingdom of heaven. The living number is in every second of forgetfulness towards what was promised not to be forgotten. The living number will ask firstborn solar Christ that all users, greedy ones, hoarders, exploiters, be declared condemned in the divine final judgments, and the grab and the pain that will be immense in the living number when they see that they were used to violate God's law. At this same attitude will take over everything at all. The most microscopic part of oneself will be governed by the highest morality that the mind can imagine, the same exalted morality that this humanity in its helpful life requests. This morality was represented in the divine commandments. Every commandment to each planet fulfills the divine mission of guiding those towards seek the proof of life. The divine commandments are given according to the divine level of evolution of all beings, according to their own needs and requests from God. The living numbers of the flying sources is also living commandments. The word, and the number form a divine alliances of fact and the calculations. The whole of everything is filled with it. The whole of everything in the word number alliances possesses a divine psychology in which its realm is equality. Humans feel free will did not imitate such psychology when they decide to adopt a way of life in the test of life. The test of light consists in imitating as far as possible the human creature, the divine teaching that were given to them in the kingdom of heaven. The living numbers and the living word of the divine commandments will be governed by the divine equal psychology. To judge human work, every human work that has not designed with intention of equality will be called a strange work. Everything that is not in harmony with this divine gospel of the Father Jehovah will be called strange in the divine events of the divine final judgment. The creative of all in strange which arose during the trial of life will now re-enter in kingdom of heaven. In other existences they did the same. In distant worlds where they asked to experience other forms of light that they did not know, they also felt. These creatures for many existences have now returned to the kingdom of heaven. The living number and the living world will judge the most microscopic things that the human mind can imagine. Even physical ideas will be judged by them. During the unfolding of the divine final judgment, the world will witness the infinite flash of the flying saucers. This divine presence will cause panic among those who did not believe in these celestial ships. He who did not believe during the trials of light will also have a greater weeping and garnishes of teeth. For he committed the strange injustice of denying what he always insists. The most microscopic denial is to deny God's power. The living number of all denials is the number of darkness, and everyone who denies in the trial of light divide their own living numbers of light by the living numbers of darkness. No psychology that is reserved two different laws receives the full price of the light. The psychology that only reserves the light is the only one that receives the complete price. This is said in the kingdom of heaven. One cannot serve two or more masters, nor should a molecule of darkness have been known in the trials of light, for such a molecule is calling the Lord of the darkness, and the molecule will divide all mental sensation, which only sought to desert the Lord of the light. The living number is in every sensation, no matter how microscopic it might be. The whole is in the whole. In the flying sources, the whole within with the whole camouflage and transforms into a breeze that penetrates everything. This light, its on the microscopic dimensions of love, allows every flying source to penetrate without being noticed. Even disembodied spirits cannot see them, because they are also penetrated by them. The living number is also the spirit that had already left the test of light, and is the spiritual living number that it belongs to the same spirit. It is their own solar inheritance, and is necessary to distinguish it between the living numbering and the spirit request to know during the trials of life, and the numbering that it belongs to is birthright. The same lot applies to the flying saucers. The solar parents that possess their own living solar numbering, and they come to know in their infinity journeys. Throughout the universe, new and unknown mathematics, this teach that the infinity hierarchies of knowledge one never stops learning. One of the universe knows, and its limit is his own wisdom. Such a limit has never existed and will never exist. The living number, when it transforms into microscopic, does so through the solar mental conduit. The solar mind is referred to as the solar luminary in the kingdom of heaven, and within the molecule number, a development occurs similar to that is between its sun and planet. The molecule number is see and feels, just as human creatures sees and feels in the respective dimension, and they do not realize that they are microscopic. just as the human creature does not realize it. This sensation, or not being aware of being a microbe on the face of the infinity, is called in the kingdom of heaven living dimension in normal geometry, because everything inside sensation is geometry that occupies an invisible space within the microscopic. The living number and the living molecule are also present in sensation. Sensations, the whole about the whole on each sensation poses a living number of sensation. In all mental division, when the spirit recognizes mental libertinism and its sensations are invaded by the strange magnetism or libertism, the living numbering of the light feels that its vision and dimensions are invaded by something unknown. And I see the darkness obscures him, and I see the light fading away. I saw strange scenes in his solar spirit father, because each one's sensation saw the divine alliances with the human spirit. The small looks out big in a gigantic stand, just as the human creature seems gigantic. Sons of the universe, what it wants inside oneself and the feeling follows the same lot of the eyes see it outside. What happens inside is happens outside. This means that what is inside is the same what is outside, just as what is above is the same what is below. The living of the flesh and the spirit reciprocal, changing in a variety in the dimensions. The smallest of oneself manifests in the greatness, and between the small and the large, there exists an infinite continuity of the space, time, and philosophy through the solar course. In flying sources, when they gather the mental ideas of each individual, they subdivide the positioning themselves into dimension that is proportional to the inherencies of the celestial ships. The invisible contains planets and ships just invisible thus. When the idea enters on a flying source, it does so in a geometric sense with expansive free will. That is to say, mental ideas enter through any of the molecule of the ship. The attraction between the idea and the flying sources occurs in both and the visible and invisible. The human eye will see none of this because its vision is limited and it does not penetrate the molecule. The living number contained in the idea opposes the influence of the individuality that generated. Each idea is dropped into another idea, because the magnetism of the shared individuality binds them, put them together. This lot constitutes the family of ideas. The thinking individuality has author in its own idea that did not think during life. The psychology is of the equality its own ideas will not find the kingdom of heaven. Because everything is spirit as God, above all the things, to live during the trial life, inequality in everything. Equality was the only thing that the human spirit asked for. Because the divine equality is the only philosophy of the love of the kingdom of the Father. Nothing unequal exists in the kingdom. And since nothing unequal exists, nothing unjust was asked of God, neither for oneself nor for others. When the humanity requests equality, this request was inscribed in kingdom of heaven. The libertinism that it was not asked for and is not written, and what is not written in kingdom of heaven does not enter into the kingdom. Thus, all the mental ideas generated by those who live in a strange inequality, none of them enter in kingdom of heaven. Here lies the greatest drama of the human creature. For there was no greater drama than being responsible for wandering through eternities. Due to one's own mental incoherences, this drama was announced to the world of trials as weeping and garnishes of tea, and the microscopic idea will have to expand an infinity development of the planet. Without knowing that the cause of the kingdom of heaven, the living number in this lot includes caused beings to live in a drama searching for eternities with those cause of his own right and origin. This strange inherent change without the cause of origin, this creates space for it moment by moment, molecule by molecule, and the spirit responsible for this strange tragedy will not enter in kingdom of heaven until they have paid the last moment and the last molecule. This is so because every human creature requests a divine judgment that encompasses everything about himself. It asks the judgment over all imaginable things. Judgments are requests and not imposed in the kingdom of heaven. Just as one asks to know life in the distant planet of the universe, the term, above all the things, the plea of humanity was something greater than your own strength, and is ought to emerge victorious in the trial of life, because no one on this world will return to the kingdom of heaven, where there is no one had violated the request of Lot. Even just a molecule, the trial of life consists of not violating anything in the living number. You've been realizing that the spirit violates the law request by God, chooses to withdraw in the faith of the spirit and its numerical free will, and it does not want to be an accomplice with the violation made against the eternal. It is infinity security that exists in everyone that the preservation of the innocence as something inherent, the divine morality of living numbers is affected when the spirit violates his own morality, and they occurred in trillions and trillions of living numbers, which are part of the whole of each one through sentimental dramas, just as thinking spirit experiences them. What is expressed in dimensions of the spirit is also expressed within, in a microscopic dimension which only the spirit feels and does not see. The living number of divine sources experiences the same sentimental drama. When the solar parents also violate the lot of God in their solar lots, what is above is the same what is below. Violations of the lot occur in the higher hierarchies, just as do the two in the lower hierarchies. And all are they judged before the eternal. According to the respect law, the number of trials knows is no bounds, and is like the universe itself. Nothing in the infinity creation of God has limits. The living number that lists those who violate God's lot form infinity armies. This happens with these molecules, virtues, sensations, idea, power, etc., etc. In the whole, over the whole, living free will be recognizing that it was not in the world will be. From here begins the story of the spirit abandoned with all. And this is universal drama, which is expressed in the infinite corners of the universe. There are those who intend not to abandon those who broke the laws. Such people eventually become bored because the glories of the children of God are microscopic compared to the infinity glory of God. This is to a knowledge and a mistake due to the lack of knowledge. In understanding the things of God, the boredom of those who said not to be undone, the one who violates God, is unlikely caused by their failure to understand the very cause of the origin. The living number is born with innocence, just as the human spirit is born. The expansive thinking universe is eternal succession of the innocences asking God to know what they do not know. The divine creator offers an entire infinity that only he knows where its everything ends. The living numbers participate in the terminations of all, and is done with infinity love and numerically that just the spirit must have done things in the test of life, With infinity human love, love is identified and expressed in what is one and feels. In its given moment, love being universal also possesses infinity hierarchies according to the divine word of one possesses. So a divine hierarchy of love, the greater power of the verb, the greater the identification of love with the universe. Selfish love confines itself within itself. This kind of love is still occupied with his own patience of lack and the power of knowledge to radiate towards those who are around it. They feel only themselves and do not plan for others. From here arises the strange indifferences towards that might be happening in all the distant places in the universe. One must step outside oneself to understand it. One must be overcome in the strange attachment or the ephemeral in custom, which turns beings into self-finished entity. This falling asleep in the depths of light, and every strange sleep is discounted by the second and by the molecule, because the divine judgment that it was requested from God was for second and for molecules. This means that every moment wasted in triumph of light was discounted by seconds, and it was only infinite discord that the spirit lost, which could be an entering kingdom of heaven. Every loss of time that it occurs in the life of any spirit that was requesting triumph of light brings a weeping and garnishing of teeth, because such individuality despises the scorn of the light, that it will grant them to the sublime right to be resurrected in the 12 years old children, because every reward that comes from God is given taken into account. The merit is earned by the Spirit second by second. At every moment, the human beings has been creating their own destiny, starting from the most microscopic element within themselves, from ideas, one by one, from seconds and molecules. The living number also participates in the more microscopic unit of time that events that the human spirit experiences. In its sight, through the sensation, the living number took part on everything that the spirit saw, and what it did not see but felt. In the unknown, in the memory, the living number is born together with the spirit. When it decides to experience forms of light that does know, it also imposes forgiveness into one's own past, or one's own place of origin. This is why it is said that every living number is born alongside the spirit. The forgetting of his own sorrow past is a fleeting forgetfulness, while this is a forgetfulness that lasts as long as the life that the spirit wishes to know. The decision that the spirit makes, its own free will, are taken after consulting with those who will join. In order to understand this, or what a way of light, this is called divine alliances in the kingdom of heaven, and it was announced to the world of the triumph of light, our Ark of the Covenants. Ark means the materialization of fact by thinking and spirit somewhere in the cosmos, and the living number is required by the spirit when it needs in the measurement of calculation in every reincarnation. Fiber by fiber, there is a living number from the moment of birth until the day of the divine final judgment. And when the human spirit decides to know another form of light different from human life, it will only again seek an alliance with the living numbers and with all the future elements that will make that the future form of light. The living number, when it calls open to the spirit, first seeks the proper and divine authorization from his own divine heavenly Father numeral, a very high solar hierarchy, a loving subordinated to the divine Father Jehovah. Just as man, being man, is under the divine authority of God, what it's like what it's below. In the countless places in the universe, planetary events occur gesture to the planet Earth. To believe oneself unique, one restricted planet is imposed to a strange limit of the power of God. The divine power of God that created the universe is not limited to a single planet. Those who thought this way during the trial of life fell into their own tests. The trial of life consists of not denying even a molecule of power to the one's own created. The divine number makes the same promise to the eternal. Circumstances are requested and desires are promised. The trial of life that everyone asks for did not include diminishing God's power, because everyone knew that by denying God in any imaginable form, one would not see Him again. The magnetism of his own one's potential denial displays the spirit infinitely far from the kingdom of heaven. That is to say, the one who does not see God when living on the planet does not see Him because he chose not to. No one forced him to deny. The strange sensation of denial came from within himself. The trial of life consists of mentally resist such strange sensations. Right, Alpha and Omega. For more about the scroll of the Lamb, please feel free to visit our website at telepathicrating.com, where you can find many more documents that explains the relationship of God and the scrolls of the Lamb. Thank you for your attention.